Hey everyone, Chris here from Real Rideshare Stories.
And Dustin from Dustin Is Driving.
So today we're going to be talking about some of the things that Uber has announced when it comes to its layoffs and just kind of discussing exactly what's going on. Now, if you didn't realize that ridership has been down a lot, up to 80–90% in some areas and across the board when it comes to ridership and ride hailing, then you didn't know that. I can't help you there, but over the last several weeks,
obvious.
Yeah, right. Over the last several weeks, ridership has declined because of the whole pandemic, the stay at home, and everything else closing. So it was only a matter of time before Uber announced layoffs when it came down to it, because of it being over, several weeks. I think we're in week 7 or something right now. I don't know. I can't even keep track of time. But it is pretty crazy nonetheless of what's going on. And it also comes a day before its earnings report is going to be published, which is going out to all the investors out there who have stock and wondering what's going to be going on. So it's going to show or trying to soften the blow that the stock price is probably going to take over the next few days because of this whole pandemic and earnings report loss that they're going to show.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. Everything's going to go down. It's going to be just like that movie Fun with Dick and Jane. It's like we showed profit, but really there was loss. And that's exactly why they're doing all these layoffs right now, because they have to try to somehow make up for this, their quarterly earnings. They have to still show that some way, even during the pandemic, that they can be profitable. And that's why right now, honestly, all their eggs are into the Uber Eats basket right now. And hopefully that's going to keep them afloat and everything else. But it's not enough, obviously, because now they have to start laying off people. And isn't the word that Dara is now going to take a pay cut or not take any money at all this year?
Yeah, something like that. Base pay. So I'm going to share this article right now. A link will be in the description below. So if you want to check this out for yourself, you can. But essentially what it is Uber's laying off 3,700 employees, which is about 14% of its workforce. So that is a lot of employees, but it also just goes to show you how big the company actually is. So it has a couple of the key points. We're just going to go over a few things. And Dustin, I'll have you chime in and give your thoughts and jump in whenever you feel like it too.
Sounds good, man.
All right. So yeah, the key points is just saying, like I said, it's laying off 3,700 employees when it comes to filing with this the SEC, Securities Exchange Commission. The cut to its customer support and recruiting teams represent about 14% of its entire employee staff, which is about 27,000 employees based on Uber's most recent headcount. So again, these cuts are coming to customer support and recruiting teams. So anybody who has been having problems and still out on the roads, whether you might be doing Uber Eats or doing and trying to do rideshare, yeah, you might have a little bit of problem or a lengthy wait when you're trying to report any issues or problems.
I would probably say a mega problem, considering it already does suck trying to get in contact with them. And then now if they're going to cut those phone people, I see the wait times being astronomical, probably up to an hour just to do a simple thing. So if you can do anything in the app, guys, if you don't have to try to call them, I recommend doing things in the app.
Definitely. Absolutely. Yeah. And then here you go. This is CEO Dara will forego his base salary for the rest of the year, which was $1 million in 2019.
What is that? Taxes for him?
Probably. So I'm just going to go off and read a couple of quick things out of this, and then also the memo. And like I said, Dustin, chime in when you want, because I'm sure you have something to say when I get to a certain point. So it says Uber said Wednesday it's going to lay off 3,700 employees, and that CEO Dara will forego his base salary for the rest of the year. So I wonder if he is. I wonder if he's claiming his first. I wonder if he's claiming though his first 5 months of salary. So what is that?
He's still getting something. There's no way he's not getting nothing.
Oh, for sure. But it says the layoffs to its customer support and recruiting teams represent 14% of its 27,000 employees based in Uber's most recent headcount. Quacko Quacko Wacko made $1 million in base salary. Yeah, right. But gained the vast majority of his compensation from bonuses and stock awards. So that's going to be the most amazing part, is what will his bonus and stock award look like for this year? Because maybe he'll make 10 million.
He'll get a bunch of ride credits.
Yeah. So he foregone his salary, his base salary, but you know, 1 year he made what, $45 million in bonuses, and then I think last year it was like 40 or 35 or something like that.
Oh yeah, he's got money to burn.
How much will that make when it comes down to it? I guess time will tell if he's going to make anything like that. But yeah, so they moved. These moves were announced in filing with the SEC earlier. Uber stock was down more than 3%, and it's been hit hard by the whole pandemic, which crushed the travel industry. And Uber's gross bookings are down around 80%, according to a report from the information. And then just going on, just talks about how they suffered lost income, reigniting the debate whether Uber should reclassify drivers as independent contractors or employees. And Kakaramamamam advocated to President Donald Trump for a third way of classifying workers beyond contractors and employees.
Any way to get around it, man. Any way to get around it. Of course, she's going to keep throwing these out there.
Just don't label them employees.
Exactly. A lot of us, I mean, some people want to be employees, but if you really want to, then apply the normal way to be an employee. Don't make the rest of us that don't want to be employees become employees.
Exactly. And then this is a memo that Kwakawama sent to employees. So
everybody listen up. Yeah. You know, if he's saying it, it's really important that we must read his memo, because, you know, he's going to give us some insightful news on what's going on.
Exactly. And so again,
he won't lie to us. He won't lie to us. It's thorough. We can trust him.
Yeah, and this is him sending it to his employees. So it says, Team Uber, I wanted to let you know that we just announced the elimination of around 3,700 roles in comm apps and recruiting, and the closure of 40% of our Greenlight locations. You can read the emails that were sent to those teams here.
Now, hold on. Before you go, continue, I just want to say, too, could you imagine if you got this email and then the next email you opened up is the one saying you were one of the 3,700? That's gotta suck, because it's just like, I'm just letting you all know that 3,700 of you are fired, and guess what? It's a surprise.
No, I think I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, somebody's getting a pink slip, that's for sure. So I wonder how much, though, because they said that the Greenlight Hub locations, I wonder if that includes the 3,700 or if that's an addition too, because all those people were laid off long ago.
That's true.
I'm wondering. I don't know. But it says with the reality of our rider trip volumes being down significantly, 80%, if not more, our need for comm apps as well as in-person support is down substantially. But yet, what about Uber Eats gains? All right, and with our hiring freeze, there simply isn't enough work for recruiters. So, yeah, they're not bringing on any new drivers. They're not bringing anybody new on into the company itself.
They're not giving out any bonuses or guarantees or anything.
Yeah, so that makes sense that those people are going to be laid off. Going on, though, it says this is not any way a reflection of the employees' efforts or contributions to getting us where we are. As a service to everyone associates with the movement and earnings opportunities, we wouldn't be here without their efforts, and I personally thank them for everything they've done for Uber. We don't know if your job is going to be back or not once this is all said and done. We worked hard to put together a generous servant package with a long period of healthcare coverage to help provide a bridge. We are also supporting EXTs whose roles are affected by today's decisions. That's today's news. But as I said yesterday,
she writes that though. That's today's news.
But as I said yesterday, all hands, this is a part of a broader exercise to make the difficult adjustment to our cost structure, team size, and office footprint so that it matches the reality of our business, our bookings, revenue, and margins. Does
that mean don't spend more than you make?
I don't know.
If you read between the lines there a little bit, you know what I mean? We have to restructure because we've realized that we're spending too much and we need to show profit.
Well, that's what you get for spending $200,000 on balloons.
I know, right? Not to
and
mention what?
and
All
pizza
the money
office
they've
parties.
wasted and all the money they've wasted into the autonomous vehicles and everything, like billions and billions.
Well, that's pushed by investors though too, because driver expenses are still the highest expense that they have. So they're trying to limit that by shrinking it just a little bit. But if they would just raise the customer what they would pay, you kind of have a little bit, obviously increasing the driver pay too. But so we're looking at many scenarios at each and every cost, both variable and fixed across the company. We want to be smart to move fast, to retain many of our great people as we can, and treat everyone with dignity, support, and respect. As I said yesterday, you can expect we will have a further final update to you within the next 2 weeks, which means more cuts are probably coming.
Dun, dun, dun.
Days like this are brutal. I am truly sorry that we're doing this, just as I know we have to do this. And while it's easier said than done, we have to keep our heads down and keep executing.
Executing,
yeah. Because that and nothing less is what will keep Uber going on to get us to the other side. Given this news,
pretty good wordplay there.
Yeah, something like that. I think somebody else probably wrote this for him, and he just approved it.
Right? That's where that $1 million went.
Yeah, right. Given this news, and since we have a Q1 20 earnings tomorrow, I thought this would be good to get everyone together again on Friday for a global all hands where we can talk or walk through our financial results and today's changes, and can continue to answer your questions as openly as possible. Keep an eye out for the invite soon. Now, again, these are for employees. I don't think drivers are going to be invited to this, but if I get a little invite, I might have to live stream it.
Yeah, that would be epic right there.
And Dustin, I have something just for you. Because this I find pretty interesting when I read through this a little bit before. And it says, Uber on, Dara.
Uber on. Look at this guy. Maybe he does watch my stuff.
Right there.
That's why he decided to give up. He tried to give up his earnings because that's what I said he should do. I was like, you're giving up all that money. They got all these billions. They could give drivers more. Give up your money. And yeah, Uber on or don't. He's trying to tell people to Uber. You can't Uber on right now. Ain't no Ubering on. Eats on, get your grub on, I don't know, but not Uber on. Look at that. Steal my stuff. That's it, Dar. That cost you $1 million.
All right, but for somebody who's getting into the investing arena and made a couple of videos on things like Robinhood and Acorns, now what do you say about that when it comes to the essentially the laying off of 3,700 workers just before their Q1 earnings report is being handed out?
I would say put some puts in because that stock is going down. Even though we cannot give any actual financial advice. We are not financial advisors, but these are just our opinions. If I was a betting person, which I am, I'd say bet on it to go down because that's what it's going to do.
Yeah, if you're trading options right now, I would definitely recommend a quick put. But who knows what's going to happen with that. Overall, in the long run, even if you want to wait until it drops and then put in a little bit of a call down the road later for something for it to go back up, and that's taken like a long term or something. Look at a contract, but that's on stock options and trading options. So if you're looking at the stock itself, more than likely it's going to go down for a little bit because of this whole thing and their whole Q1. Now, if you didn't know this, Lyft is also coming out with their earnings report, and that is going to be sometime this afternoon. So they're going to be talking about their earnings report for the Q1 to kind of shed some light on what it might look like for Uber. But Uber is going to have a much lengthier and much harder hit when it comes down to it for the first quarter because they operate on a global standpoint versus Lyft, where they're just North Americans. So Lyft's quarter 1 loss report probably is not going to be as much as what Uber's is going to have tomorrow. So it'll be pretty interesting to see what the fluctuations in the market will happen.
It's going to be the battle of the biggest losers. That's what it's going to be
essentially.
right.
But quarter 2 is going to be a major thing coming up in a few months. And again, that's 3 months from now, 3-ish months when they have their quarter 2 earnings report that they have to make public. And because that's going to include April, May, and June, again, ridership is going to be down for at least 2 of those months because all of April is down.
Yep, May's not looking any better.
May probably is going to be down for several areas.
But it makes you wonder, though. Does that mean when this is all over with that suddenly Uber's going to be hiring? If they're laying all these people off, that means they're still going to need someone, if volume and everything picks back up, all the people that they do have are still going to be overloaded with calls. So they're going to have to do something. So I wonder if in the end, if there's going to be more jobs coming again. So
I'm sure as business picks up, they're definitely going to have to hire their comm ops people back again. And once they actually start getting things back in place for the recruitment of drivers and personnel and team members and all that jazz, then they're going to have to hire those people back as well. So it could be a temporary layoff, or they could bring in new people. Who knows? It just depends.
That's true. They do say they want to restructure.
Yeah. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next few months. But if I was a betting man, I would definitely say Uber is going to go down stock price, all that for a little bit. I've said I could see it going down to like $10, $15 a share. I'm going to revise that by saying it's probably going to hover around the $20 mark for a little bit, but then it's going to go back up to like where it might be normally. And that could be like the $45 region. I'm no financial expert, so don't quote me on that. But if I was a betting man, if I was a betting man,
fourth quarter, maybe.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be pretty interesting to see though, in the long run.
And if you guys want to do anything about any kind of investing at all, obviously we have the Acorns and Robinhood apps in the description below. Just got to throw that out there.
Now, Acorns, though, is more for
beginners.
You just saying where you want it to go, and somebody else is actually going to kind of put it into a fund. So if you want to actually trade stocks and options and things like that, then you're going to have to go on something like Robinhood or Webull. Those 2 trading apps are going to be pretty good for you. So if you do want to play the game a little bit, and maybe you and I can do a video in the near future talking about how important it is to diversify your income by trying to create investment opportunities for yourself as part of the income. And then, whether it be trading options and stocks and bonds, you want to make sure you have a well-diversified portfolio. So maybe we'll talk about that in a future video.
It's definitely going to have to.
Yeah, because the one of the big things is that I've noticed is during all this, there's a lot of drivers out there who rely on this income and maybe rely on it to create
a little too much.
Yeah. Exactly. A little too much, where maybe they have a job, but it's not paying enough of the bills. So they're going out and trying to drive, and that extra money is already tied up in bills, and they may not have extra money. So now it might be important to show you how well you want to try to live as minimal as you can when it comes to bills. So maybe don't go to the coffee shop. Maybe don't go to buy the new clothes every few weeks or something. Let it ride out. I've had these shirts over a couple of years now, and I still wear them. So you could go back and look at my old videos and still see some of these shirts. And,
ain't nothing wrong with that. Costco, baby. Buy stuff that lasts.
Exactly. And then what you want to try to do is take your extra money and put it into investments, which will actually then make money for you back down the road. So yeah, I think we should definitely talk about that in an upcoming joint video. and maybe even do a live stream where if people have some questions, we can kind of answer them. But as a beginner and as a fellow person, not as a financial advisor in any way, because we're not trained for that and can't do that.
That's a negative, Ghost Rider.
All right. Any last things you want to say, Dustin, on the layoffs or how Uber is looking when it comes down to it?
Or even what I got to say about the main thing I got to say.
I was just going to say, or even Dara's pay cut.
That's what I was going to say. Dara taking his pay cut. At least that's a start. It'd be nice if drivers were getting a little bit treated better, but that's where the option leaves us in the end. Uber on or don't, as Dara likes to try to say.
He's trying to take the high road and say Uber on, but for those 3,700 employees that were laid off, definitely aren't.
Yeah, they're definitely not. Surprise!
Yeah. All right. Well, with that being said, this is Chris from Real Rideshare Stories. Dustin, you could do the sign off if you like.
Everyone, please be safe out there. Always check the description below for extra information and tips. Plus, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click that little bell icon. You get notified when we come out with new videos. Be safe. Have backups to your backups. And until next time, guys, Uber on or don't. Peace out, everybody.